On 15th August 1947, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, India emerged as a nation and one with a ring of weaker states around it. This sudden realization of physical security encouraged India to embark on a series of annexations through coercion and physical use of force. A number of states that did not want to join India after the collapse of British Empire wanted to remain independent or join the dominion of Pakistan. They were bullied to sign instrument of accession or were simply invaded. Travancore, Jodhpur and Bhopal, they wanted to remain independent after partition, were coerced by Hindu leaders and as well as Viceroy Lord Mountbatten to join India. These three states, under duress, declared their willingness to join Dominion of India in July 1947. Hyderabad, the wealthiest and most powerful state with a Hindu majority population and ruled by a Muslim Nizam, chose independence, that it decided not to join either India or Pakistan. In a blatant violation of all international norms, Hyderabad was invaded by Indian Army in a campaign codenamed Operation Polo in September 1948, killing, according to Indian inquiry, between 30 to 40,000 people. The independent states put the death toll at 200,000 or maybe over. We hear about Nawab of Junagadh signing the instrument of accession on 13 September 47 in the presence of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. In the following weeks, when Junagadh resisted Indian coercion, a blockade was imposed on the state, rioting was engineered to cripple the economy, and on 9th November, Sardar Patel sent in the army to take over the state, completing the occupation. Next, in a Machiavellian move, India installed a governor and held a referendum in February 1948 to predetermine where the result was obviously predetermined. Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan wrote to his Indian counterpart, Jawaharlal Nehru, reminding him about the violation of principles of partition and accusing him of naked aggression, asked him to undo the annexation of Junagadh and its vassal states, but India chose to look the other way. India justified the use of force on the grounds that the majority of population in the state was Hindu, and they wanted to accede to India. Ironically, it applied a different criteria in regard to conflict in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, arguing that Hindu Maharaja of Kashmir had the legitimate right, authority to accede to India, with total disregard to the wishes of 80% of the people who were Muslims. We see geographical security, the ring of weaker states, and nonchalant international community encouraged this clever contradictory behavior of India. What we see is that in the imperialism served India well in its first year of independence. In fact, throughout its recent history, India has failed to measure up to the responsibilities of a peaceful neighbor. Instead, it has persistently pursued acts of naked colonial aggression and fake referendums against weak and defenseless neighbors. After Junagadh, Hyderabad and Kashmir, India occupied Manipur in northeastern region in October 1949, Goa in December 1961, and Sikkim again in northeast in 1975. One thing that we learned from conflicts in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and in Vietnam, and in Nagorno-Karabakh is that occupation is not a sustainable act of policy. But it is one lesson that powers with imperial mindset like India failed to learn. I mentioned Nagorno-Karabakh in the context of Junagadh as it has historical similarities with the dispute between Azerbaijan and Armenia was both ethnic and territorial. The dispute over Nagorno-Karabakh and 7 territories surrounding Nagorno-Karabakh is almost a century old. The Nagorno-Karabakh population is mainly of Armenian descent, where the people living around this enclaves are Azeris and Muslims. It was about 3,000 square kilometers of Azer territory occupied by Armenia on the pretext that Nagorno-Karabakh had Armenians in majority. After more than a century-long conflict, the Second Azer-Armenian War broke out in 2020. Finally, towards the end, Russia brokered an agreement between Azerbaijan and Armenia, which gave all the disputed territories, including Nagorno-Karabakh, back to Azerbaijan. It was the relentless persistence of Azerbaijan that got restored to it its rightful territories. If a century-old occupation can be vacated, so can be Kashmir and Junagadh. Ladies and gentlemen, in the background that I have just placed before you, I see by unveiling new political map in 2020, Pakistan brings in sharp contrast Indian dichotomous approach over invasion, occupation, and annexation of land that did not legally belong to it. As mentioned earlier, coercion and use of force have become perennial instruments of foreign policy for India. Even today, India sees its fascist regime does not believe in the obsolescence of a major war in the modern international system, as it continues to have festering border disputes with all its neighbors. But it hardly means that Pakistan gives up its legitimate claims both on Junagadh and Kashmir. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.